In today's video, I'll be showing you how to build this create mod iron farm in Minecraft. So without further ado, let's get to building. For this build, we'll need a 10 by 10 foundation. These are all the blocks we'll be using in today's build. We'll start by placing one block here with a mechanical drill on top to drill the cobblestone. We'll place two shafts like this. We'll right click this shaft with a mechanical belt in our hand and drag over to here and right click this one to create a belt. We'll place one gearbox like this and we'll connect a rotation speed controller to that gearbox like this. And to make a rotation speed controller work, we need a large cogwheel on top. Now we'll break out these 12 blocks here. We'll place water on this side. We'll place back 4 large water wheels here to power our whole system. And for this conveyor belt, we actually want it to go the other way. So if you hold down, right click on this little white box here, we get this little menu where you can select the RPM and which direction it goes. To make this whole machine run as fast as possible without breaking, we'll set the RPM to 93 and make it spin clockwise. Now you can release your right mouse button and you can see that the conveyor belt is spinning faster and in the other direction. Now we're going to need a way to contain the water and lava inside so they don't spill out. So we'll place 2 copycat panels here. We'll place one like this. We'll place 2 on this side, and we'll place 4 above like this. Now we'll place a temporary block here, and on top of this block we'll place 1 lava, and we'll waterlog the mechanical drill. And now if you break this block, it'll start making stone. For now, we'll break this water wheel so it doesn't constantly spin, so we don't have things happening when we don't want them. And we'll replace it back when we start needing power. Now we'll want to get power to this mechanical drill so it can actually break the stone. So we're going to place 1 shaft here. We'll place 1 gearbox like this. And we'll right click the wrench on this side to make it flip vertically. Now there are 2 ways we could carry the rotational power over to the drill. The first way is to use mechanical belts to transfer the rotational power like this. The other way is to use encased chain drives like this. So if this gets powered, all these other shafts in this line will spin the same direction, and it also works vertically like this. Now, if we replace this large water wheel, you can see that the conveyor belt starts spinning, the mechanical drill is drilling, and it starts spitting the cobblestone out. Now we can move on to the second step of this process, which is turning the cobblestone that we're drilling into gravel. Now we'll place 1 block here with a millstone on top. Now to power this millstone, you can either use a shaft from underneath, or you can use a cogwheel on the side. In this case, we'll be using the cogwheel, so we'll place 1 here, and on this gearbox, we'll place 1 large cogwheel. And whatever RPM this large cogwheel spins at, since it's connected to a small one, this one will get double the RPM since it has a smaller area to turn. Now we'll need to let the cobblestone enter, which we will do by placing a funnel on the conveyor belt side like this. Now we'll place an andesite funnel on this side for the output, and you can tell it's the output by this arrow is facing this direction. If it were to be input, it would face in like this. And the way you can change whether this inputs or outputs is by right clicking with the wrench in your hand. Now if we reconnect this water wheel, you'll see that the cobblestone starts going into this millstone and the gravel will drop out where we put the output funnel. And if you see how there's only 1 gravel here, it's because the andesite funnel will not allow another item to drop unless this area where it's supposed to drop is already clear of any items. So if I go and pick this up, it'll start dropping out more gravel. The next step is to take the gravel that we got from here and wash it using an encased fan with water into iron nuggets with a byproduct of flint. First, we're going to place 3 copycat panels on like this to keep the water inside. We'll place 1 encased fan facing this direction, and we'll place 1 water bucket in here like this. Now we'll need to power this fan, and to do that we can easily place 2 encased chain drives connected to this chain that we made earlier. And if we were to replace this large water wheel, you'll see that this fan is actually pulling air in towards it. So an easy fix to that is to take this gearbox and replace it with this shaft, since the gearbox will take the rotation and make it opposite of what it was coming in. And now you can see that the fan is blowing outwards, which is where we want it to go. Now to catch the iron nuggets and flint that you get when you wash the gravel, we'll place 3 item vaults like this. And since you can't open item vaults manually, the only way to access them is using funnels. The reason you would use item vaults and not chests is because they're much better for storing large amounts of items. Now here we can only make it 3 blocks long until it starts another vault. But if you increase how big it is by placing 3 around the first item vault, you can make it a 2 by 2, which will store more items and it can increase the length further. And if you wanted an even bigger item vault, you can make it up to 3 by 3 blocks long like this. And you can extend this size up to 9 blocks back before it creates another vault like this. Now if we go back over here, we'll place 1 brass funnel on this side, and the reason it's going to be brass is because you can filter the input and output of brass funnels, but not in andesite ones. The first thing we'll want to do is make sure this is inputting into the vault and not outputting from the vault. And if we were to turn on the system right now, the gravel would just go into this vault without getting washed first, which is not what we want. And to keep that from happening, you can take a list filter and right click with it in your hand and you get this menu here. What we'll want to do is drag 1 flint and 1 iron nugget into 2 slots in the list filter, and make sure this is set to allow list so that it only allows flint and iron nuggets. And once you're done, you hit this check mark, and then you can right click on this little square here to set the filter. And now, since it's filtered, it will only allow flint and iron nuggets, which is what we get when we wash the gravel, to be input into the vault. And if we turn the system back on, you can see that this will start to work like normal. And once this washes, it'll take some time. You can see that we just got the achievement for processing with washing. And now if you see in the top middle, our item vault has collected flint and iron nuggets. And the bigger the stack on this gravel, the longer it'll take for it to wash. Now the final step in this process will be taking the iron nuggets and turning them into iron ingots and then storing them. The next step is to break these 2 blocks and replace them with shafts and connect these up with a mechanical belt like this. Now we'll place a brass funnel here to output the items from the vault. And if you notice how this brass funnel doesn't actually have any input or output arrows, it's because whenever there's a belt directly below the funnel, it will input or output items based on the direction that the belt is spinning. Next, we'll place 1 basin here with a mechanical press on top, making sure that the shaft is facing this direction. Now, to let the iron nuggets enter this basin, we'll place an andesite funnel here. The next step is to connect up power to this whole system, and to do that, we'll extend this encased chain drive by another 3 blocks like this. We'll break out these 4 blocks here. We'll place 4 chain drives to connect up to this mechanical press. We'll place one shaft here with two encased chain drives like this to connect up the belt so it can move as well. And then we'll connect up this encased chain drive over to this one using shafts. Now, since we have iron nuggets and flint in this vault, we'll want to filter this to only take iron nuggets so it doesn't clog up the whole system with flint here. Now, once 9 iron nuggets get into this basin, this mechanical press will squish them into an iron nugget. And now we'll need to take the output of that. So first we'll filter this with an iron ingot so that it knows to only output whenever there's an iron ingot being crafted. And to store these iron ingots that we're making, we're going to place down a little vault here. And so the items can input into the vault, we'll place one andesite funnel here, making sure it's in input mode. And we'll replace this block here with a depot. And now, since we got this little output port here and we have it filtered to only output when iron ingots are in, then it will output its iron ingots onto this depot here, and from there the andesite funnel will pick those up and put them into the item vault. And since this item vault only has so much space it can hold, and we're constantly putting flint into it without an output of flint, we can put an andesite funnel on here and use the filter to make it only let flint out. And you can either store this away, or in this case, I'll just drop it into lava, since we don't have a use for it right now. And the final step is to connect this back up and make sure all of the machines work properly. So you can see the cobblestone goes into the millstone, it gets crushed into gravel, the gravel comes out, the gravel is being washed, and once it washes, we'll see an iron nugget pop out of here. That will be the final iron nugget that we need. There it goes, and you just saw it got pressed, and we now have one iron ingot in our item vault. And since we have an iron ingot in here, that means everything was working correctly. This is the finished farm. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with what you would like to see next. And while you're down there, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.